If you're hoping to get pregnant and you're in your mid-30s and on up into your 40s, you may be feeling the pressure of time. You may be feeling negativity as far as expectations of whether you'll be able to get pregnant with your own eggs. You may be feeling overwhelmed by the vast number of things that you could do to help your fertility. If you're in this boat, I hope you'll stick around because I'm going to be sharing a system that I am offering as a guided program over the next few months to help you clear the negative energy, get clarity about where to focus, and simplify your whole approach to supporting your best fertility. You may know me from my Fertility from the Soul guided meditations where I invite you to connect with positive imagery and affirmations. I want to do a lot more for you and not just send you something that you can listen to, but I want to help you step by step find a plan that can put you at ease and give you your best chances of conceiving. The program I'm going to tell you about is called a TwoCycle Cleanse for Optimal Fertility. And I hope you'll have a piece of paper to write some notes down as we go through this. Maybe you'll decide this is something that you can do on your own. Maybe you'll decide to come along for my program to do it with a group together. I want to share with you a little bit about the kind of people who are joining the program so you can see if this resonates, if this feels like you would be aligned. The age range has been about 35 to 47 with the average age of 43 so far. And here's a comment from somebody who has just joined in the opening survey. Where are you in your fertility process? The start, I'm 41 and only have started trying. What are your priorities in the program? To stop the negative thoughts about trying to have a baby this old. So here's somebody who's just beginning the fertility journey and is coming in with a negative, pessimistic outlook already. I would love to see people be able to start with a little more hope than that, a lot more hope. Some people have been on the road for a long time and it's time for a new approach. Trying for baby number 2 for the past 6 years, but I'm so stressed about it that I'm not enjoying what I already have. I want to get out of the perpetual fight or flight mode and find better ways to deal with the stressors of my life. I need to calm my nervous system down so that my body can focus on other things like calming down any inflammation or a pregnancy. Can you relate to this, being so stressed out about the process that your body may be shutting down and saying no to creating new life and missing out on the beautiful things that are happening in your life because you're so focused on the thing that's not here yet? Many people are coming to my programs when their providers are giving up on them and giving so little hope that this could work out. I've been through 3 failed IVF rounds and the doctors say my only chance is with donor eggs. I hear this all the time, and I also see so often that people have been told that and then turn around and get pregnant. I'm 44 years old and the doctor said my chances of getting pregnant with my own eggs is less than 1%. We kind of had a running joke in my programs about being in the less than 1% club. It's like almost everybody who's gotten pregnant in my program has been told at one point that they have less than 1% chance. Let me tell you a little bit about my story and why I feel so passionate about clearing up negative expectations so that you can move forward with more confidence. I don't think I've introduced myself yet. I'm Dr. Natalie Masson. I'm a psychologist specializing in the mind-body connection, and I help people getting pregnant, especially when they're in their later reproductive years. And when you hear my story, you'll understand why. This is me in October of 2014 with my first daughter, Layla. She is 3 years old. At the time of this photograph, I'm 45 years old, and I've been trying to conceive our second child for a year now. And you may look at that picture and say, oh, what a lovely picture of a mother enjoying time with her daughter. Behind that smile is a grieving mother. At this point, I am 1 month past my first miscarriage, and I'm feeling a lot of pressure and desperation about whether I'm going to be able to bring a sibling to my daughter. It's become a fixation in my life. My heart is hurting, and I just don't feel like there's any guarantee of what's around the corner, and I'm just trying to keep moving forward, giving myself the best chance. And when I look at this picture, I remember this was a very hard time. I became quite stressed and obsessed I was very tightly wound about everything that I was going through inside. And of course, you don't necessarily talk to everybody around you about it, so you carry a lot of that inside. So I was 45 and a half years old at that point, and I was pretty sure that I was going to throw in the towel if I wasn't pregnant by the end of the year. I did get pregnant in December, just in time, and I miscarried again at around 9 weeks. From there, I took 3 months off to step away, reground myself, find my center, find my light again, because I had lost my inner light. And you could be sure that at this stage, if I had gone to a doctor to ask my chances of getting pregnant with my own eggs, certainly would have been less than 1%. In May of 2015, we conceived a healthy pregnancy. You could say that was really against the odds. My AMH was very low. I was turning 46 years old that month. I'd already had 2 miscarriages. I didn't really pay attention to the statistics. I figured I was playing my own game, and I would discover what my outcome would be when I went all in. As you can see, everything worked out, and you might be wondering, am I just a unicorn? Am I that unusual case? Well, here we are at the unicorn party, and we've made unicorn headbands for ourselves, coincidentally. And I know that my story is not the most common, but I have also seen so many cases within my own fertility coaching program, within the broader communities, of women getting pregnant well into their 40s against the odds. It really makes me question, what are the odds? The studies that we look at often are specific groups of people going through IVF treatments, doing who knows what with their mental and emotional and physical health. What would happen if we shifted our expectations and embraced a belief in our body's amazing capacity? I want to tell you a quick story about someone I will always remember in my program. She was very quiet, didn't interact very much, but she did reach out to me privately as she was studying my materials. She had been through multiple IVF rounds, I think maybe more than 6. She was 44 years old at the time and was considering what her next step should be. And I said, well, the IVFs haven't really been panning out for you, so I think it might be worth trying naturally. She was afraid to not try IVF again, so she did one more round, and this time not only did it not work, but she suffered an ovarian torsion and lost an ovary. At this point, I have to admit, I was even wondering what would the chances be. Now, down to 1 ovary at age 44, I think she was almost 45, and she decided she was going to fully embrace trying naturally. She did not want to do any more interventions, and a few months later, she was pregnant and she had a successful pregnancy. So that's definitely the 1%, under 1% club. And I've seen many cases like this that really make me wonder, what are these statistics that we're looking at? Do these really apply? So I've been releasing content on my YouTube channel recently to kind of bring into question, like a lot of times people accept the data and accept what an authority figure tells them. I've just been raising the question, like, is this really accurate? How significant is this statistic to you? What happens when you hear negative messages? What happens in your body? And how do you want to protect your own energy if you want to hold positivity and move forward from that place? So I've been sharing my thoughts. I've been leading guided meditation experiences where we actually get up and move and shake off the negative energy. It's been really exciting to see the engagement around this process. And I'm so excited about all the possibilities that could happen if we really went after this approach of shedding the negative expectations, doing the things that will really nourish and restore and align our bodies, and keeping things light and simple, not a heavy task list of a bunch of obligations that we must do to optimize our fertility. That is not how I went about it in my final stages before I conceived. It was a light and fun and energizing process, and this is what I would like to guide a group through. I'm calling it a 2-cycle cleanse. And why do we need a cleanse? I feel like there's so much negativity in our fertility communities. There's so much distraction from all of the different kinds of interventions and self-care that you could be doing. There's so many procedures that you might consider, and there's confusion about what to do. There's so much complexity that I feel like we lose the opportunity to find out how we could thrive, how our fertility would respond if we released the negativity, embraced hope and possibility, and got out of the way of our natural processes. So I hope that you'll check out the 3 mind-body energy cleansing sessions that I led. You can see a link to those in the comments below this. They are in unlisted YouTube videos because I don't really want those videos just going randomly out to people on the internet. It's a little bit unique, the kinds of things that I'm doing, and I just don't want it out in the general airwaves. So this is just for people who have gotten this far in this talk or on my email list to be able to come in and experience my very unique style of moving the mind-body energy. So let's talk about the essence of what we're doing here. I wanted to go beyond just the 3 guided sessions. I'd like to guide a group through over a course of time so that you can learn all the different methods that I'm talking about and get guidance, feedback along the way. And this is what I'm envisioning for 2 cycles. We're going to live really well. We're going to be tuning and listening to our bodies and responding to what our bodies need. And we're going to release the negativity and striving and replace that with embracing hope and possibilities. In addition, we're going to monitor outcomes, what we're experiencing in terms of how your cycle is going, because we want to really watch and see what impact this process is having. So why are we talking about 2 cycles? And I'm talking about your menstrual cycle. If you're not having regular cycles, don't worry about it. Just go with the approximate idea of about 2 months worth of time. I'm balancing our need to be patient, give it enough time that we can see the effects of what we're doing. When you do natural changes to your energy field and to your physical body, we're not expecting to see results necessarily tomorrow. We need a little bit of time. So 2 cycles, so we can collect data across 2 cycles and see what patterns are emerging. I'm balancing that with a little bit of impatience, that we don't want to lose too much time trying an experiment without checking in and seeing how it's going. So the idea is, let's be real here. We're not going to say, try this thing out for a year and see what happens. Let's try it for 2 months and collect data about what's happening and then check in, see where we are, and then make adjustments from there. But I'd really like you to have a chance to have 2 cycles kind of free and clear of analyzing things and be able to kind of relax into it. It's kind of like going on a vacation. If you go for 2 days, sometimes you barely get into it before it's time to pack up and come home. So we want to be able to really relax into this way of being. So what's involved in this way of being? I'm going to break it down into some categories. For most people, what I'm going to recommend is a focus on generally these categories, and there may be other things you add in for yourself, but a focus on generally healthy eating, keeping yourself hydrated, moving your body, breathing practices, specific kinds, which I'm going to recommend to you, not just any old breath work that you find out there somewhere on the internet. There's very specific, simple kind of breathing practice that I recommend for calming your nervous system. Some kinds of reflecting and grounding practices. It's going to include some journaling, some meditation, but something that's very light and easy. Play and creative energy are going to be a big part of this program. I think that's left out of many health and fertility programs, and we're looking for an energy that's going to really enliven our spirit. Restoring, getting enough rest, and sleep, good quality sleep, are also going to be very high priorities during this 2-cycle cleanse. All these things really are good for your longevity too, so it's not just about a cleanse for fertility. This is a graphic that I put together for my 90-day egg nurturing program to help people quickly get a visual representation of what it can look like to incorporate these things into your life. And in this graphic, we're talking about, the golden eggs at the center of this heart space. And in our context for the cleanse, we're talking about not just egg quality, but your overall fertile energy. There are a few other core elements outside of those lifestyle pieces. One that I'm going to recommend is a very simple approach to charting your cycle, taking your temperature. I get a lot of resistance for people who've had bad experiences with cycle charting, making them obsessive and waking them up in the morning and stuff like that. We're not going to do it that way. If you join the program, I'll show you how I want you to do it. That'd be very light and easy, but it gives us a chance to collect data and see how this is impacting you. I also have an extensive fertility assessment form that I'm encouraging everyone to fill out so that while you're going through this, I want to review your assessment and help you get clarity and confidence about what you want to add in, what you want to remove, all with the idea that it's going to be light and simple and really aligned with the lifestyle that you have. I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed by a whole bunch of things to do. We're trying to move the opposite direction. I'm also going to be recommending a nightly journaling practice that's only going to take you less than 5 minutes. It's something that I've been using for a long time in my programs that is very helpful for developing your insight, your awareness of how to take care of yourself. So these are some of the things we want to be doing during the TwoCycle cleanse. Now there's another very important aspect, and that is what we are going to be not doing. That is what we are going to be releasing from what might be in your program that's not helpful. Things we're going to release for this period of time, my recommendation is researching your fertility path and all the different things that you might do. We're just going to sidebar that for now. Other programs that might be adding complexity into your life, sidebar that for now. Social media, hey, maybe even just take Facebook off of your devices. Do you need that? Could you go without that for a little while? The identity of trying to conceive. Do you need to think of yourself as on a fertility journey and every day you're sleeping and breathing fertility? How about you just focus on living well? Imagine what that would be like. And maybe your supplements have gotten a little wild and crazy, and we can trim down to the very few things that really are helping you, and just put on the shelf those other things. Not to say that there's something wrong with them, but we're just minimalizing to see what happens when you don't have so much going on that might not be needed. And the striving and obsessing that is so common on our fertility path, we're going to be sidelining all that. I have meditations to help with those things. And in terms of lifestyle choices, moving away from restrictedness and rigidness. So any kind of restricting that you've been doing around food and stuff like that, we're going to just focus on common sense, healthy nutrition. Unless there's a specific dietary need that you have, then of course you want to support that, but not arbitrarily restricting and only eating certain things that are supposed to be best for fertility. We're going to go back to a very relaxed and easeful way of being with your life. So for somebody who's not on the fertility path, all this stuff might sound like a no-brainer, easy way to be, but when you've been doing this for a while, these things can get kind of locked into your system, and it can really take some trust to let it go. Envision that you can let go of all the restricting and the effort and kind of breathe into a more relaxed way of being for a period of 2 beautiful cycles to see where that takes you. So we want to take all of these things that you don't need to be doing all the time, that may be working against you, and kind of imagine putting them into this ball of energy of all the extra unnecessary stuff, the heavy, the restricted type stuff, and just want to take that ball of energy and let it go. Let it go. And that involves trusting the process, trusting your own body, trusting that all of that is not helpful, is not needed. Imagine these 2 cycles of being able to ease into a beautiful bath where you can just soak in the warmth and be at ease. Now you might be wondering, why would something like this work? There's actually a lot of sophistication and power to this. We're talking about grounding your nervous system. We're talking about coming from an expansive versus a constricted energy, developing a sense of safety in your being and nourishing yourself deeply, turning on the rest and restore and procreate signals of your mind-body system. It's not trivial to shift the energetic balance of your system from a tense, constricted fight or flight kind of mode to an easeful rest and restore mode. This is probably one of the most significant things that you can do for your fertility, because you've probably heard this, we are wired for survival. And if your body is in emergency mode, it is correctly sending the signal that we should not activate processes that could take more energy away. So it becomes very important to skillfully find ways to bring ourselves into that space that feels safe, protected, and easeful, so that body can say yes to bringing on the miraculous and beautiful responsibility of growing another human being. There's evidence all around us that this kind of process makes a difference. In fact, just today, someone emailed me this, somebody who was thinking about the program, talking about how it probably could help her. She said, funnily enough, today I had a second consultation with an IVF clinic, as it looks like I may have a blocked fallopian tube, and on my second scan I had more follicles than the month before, which had coincided with a month of sleeping better. The consultant said himself he has seen a pattern of more follicles when the woman has managed to relax more. So that's just an anecdotal observation by a technician who looks at these things all the time. There is recent research showing that IVF outcomes are better when people are more relaxed at the time of their procedures. And I've seen this in my program myself, where there have been many rounds of difficulties with egg retrievals, and then through the work that we're doing together, we see better outcomes for egg retrievals. So it's undeniable to me that these processes can make a significant difference. My grand goal with this 2-cycle cleanse, and you may have figured out I like to dream big, I would love to see 100 participants age 40 to 48 in this program going through together. And if you're outside those ranges, I invite you to come in as well. Come one, come all, whether you want to try naturally, whether you want to go through IVF, whatever you're doing. I would love to see you in the program, giving this a shot to see what can happen. But I want to have ideally at least 100 participants in this age range going through this 2-cycle cleanse. At the end of your 2 cycles, we assess and revise. Maybe you want to add some things in now that we see what your baseline is without all the stuff. Maybe we want to make some modifications to what you're doing. And then let's say 6 months out from when you started, let's see what's happening in our cohort. And I want to crush the statistics. I just don't think that less than 1% is accurate at all for those who are on a clear path of really nourishing themselves, having positive expectations, and getting support along the way. I really believe that the numbers have got to be higher than that. I've seen enough people in my programs getting these results, but I haven't more systematically collected the data. And a lot of times I don't really know who's participating and who's not. I want to go all in with a group right now in this next quarter and see where we can get together. I really want to see how this can work. So I'm inviting people to come into the program and give this an honest shot, and let's see what we can do together. And I want to remind you that when I was 45 going on 46 years old, preparing for my last pregnancy, I did not do anything complicated at all. It was everything that I'm sharing with you and everything that I teach about bringing alignment to the system, deeply nourishing, bringing more light into my life. And as you can see, this is what worked out. We got pregnant naturally, uncomplicated pregnancy and birth. My daughters now, they're 8 and 12 years old. And I'm just so eager to help others along this path, believing that so much can be possible. And there's so much that you're missing if you're just going the standard path of striving and trying to do all the things and beating yourself up because you didn't do this on this day, you didn't do that on that day. It does not need to be like that. There are other pathways that can be light and easy and so promising. Now, I can't guarantee a certain kind of outcome for your fertility. I'm going to be going all in to help you bring home your baby, but I want you to know that even if you don't conceive, you still win in my program. I believe it's truly a win-win because along the way, you're learning to live well and embrace your life. You're learning to go after your dreams and appreciate the present. There are many pathways to feeling fulfilled in life, and I won't discount the fact that if you don't get your first choice, there may be some grieving, there may be an absence and a hole and a hurt there. And at the same time, we need to recognize that there are so many different ways that we can also add meaning and light and beauty into our lives. If I hadn't been able to conceive a second child, I imagine I would have adopted. I sometimes grieve that I didn't get to do that. I always wanted to adopt a child that was a little bit older and less likely to be adopted. And I thought I would adopt a child that was close in age to my first child so that they could be close in age together. And I feel a little bit sad that we never did that. But I think it's just so important to always hold in your awareness that our lives are something to discover. We don't get to write the whole story ourselves, but we're writing alongside pieces that are getting written for us, and we're co-creating with the universe in a sense. Some cards we get dealt and we figure out how to work with them. Some cards we create, and it's a blend of these things together. So throughout my program, I'm guiding you and how to have this openness and acceptance of what cards you're dealt, what life brings you, and also how to tip the scales in favor of the hopes and dreams that you have. So you're learning in the program to thrive in the present moment and for your future. As long as you're participating in my programs, I'm here to guide you to help bring lightness and brightness into your life. I love to share my own bright energy with you and help you see the beauty in yourself and all that is possible for gaining fulfillment in your life. One of the special things that I've been doing each month in our fertility coaching program is creating a graphic that you can put on your own cell phone with an image and a message to inspire with the theme of the month. And this was our theme for February. It was trust. Trust in whatever path that you're on. And in March, it was patience. Some things that are really lovely take patience to wait for the blooming to come. And this past month's theme, April's theme is courage. Courage when you're not sure, when things aren't certain, the courage to say yes anyway, to be open to yes energy, to say, why not me? To say, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to give this a try. Now I want to show you something. When I put this slideshow together, it occurred to me when I laid out all of these images side by side, it occurred to me that this hike that I was on just this weekend, I had snapped some pictures of some flowers, desert flowers growing in the sand. These are native Southern California flowers. Do you see that they're the same colors as the screensavers from the last 3 months? I don't know. Is that some random coincidence? I just thought it was something fun to share with you. What energy do we put out? What energy do we draw to ourselves? What lights up in our lives? If you like the energy of what I'm talking about, I want to invite you to join the TwoCycle cleanse for optimal fertility. You can take these concepts that I've shared with you right now and run with them yourself. I encourage you to do that no matter what. If you want to do this with me as your guide, with the power of a group striding together, then this is the place for you to be. Join the TwoCycle cleanse with me. You'll get coaching along the way. We already have probably 15 or 20 who are signed up. I just met with them today, those who are already in my coaching program who are coming on board for this. And we've got a lot of excited energy going already. I'm going to be co-creating this with the group, so all the specifics aren't hammered out. I like to develop the specifics as I see you going through, and I can see where we need to, refine things. And it's based on what the group is experiencing. So if you want to join this TwoCycle cleanse, the place that you need to be is inside my Wisdom Circle coaching program. Conceive With Ease is a fertility track of my coaching program. I do offer support through fertility and through pregnancy and postpartum into parenting and general wellness. So if you join my Wisdom Circle, the Conceive With Ease track, you will have access to all of the resources in the program, including this TwoCycle cleanse that we're kicking off at this time. So I'm going to walk you through real quickly some of the features of my Conceive With Ease program so that you can understand the big picture of what you're going to have access to. And there's a lot. You get to pick and choose what's going to be helpful to you. I have many courses that I've created. Fertility 101, that's focused a lot on cycle tracking and other kinds of testing to make it simple and inexpensive for you to do all the kind of cycle tracking that you need to do. Integrative fertility assessment walks you through how to get a mind-body comprehensive assessment of things that might be impacting your fertility. And the 90-day egg nurturing program was the first course that I created based on my own experience in creating a system for others to follow. That is a very research-based program, along with all the inspiration of the methods that I'm using to guide people. And you'll have access to all that. The Improving Egg Quality Workshop is a mini version of the 90-day egg nurturing program because I wanted to be able to pull out information quickly so you can get started quickly with an egg nurturing program. In addition, we have monthly master classes where I focus on various mindfulness and mind-body topics. Twice a month we have fertility office hours. I change the times to meet different time zones, and we have a community forum that is not on Facebook, so that you will not be distracted by social media. In addition, 7-day meditation trainings. I have a whole constellation of training for bringing your mind and body into alignment, bringing in a lot of mindfulness concepts of acceptance and non-judgment, learning how to listen to your body. And the Wake Up Wind Down series is one that's been a real popular one with the group. A short meditation to start the day and a short one to end the day. This set of meditation trainings alone is well worth the price of admission. And this goes beyond the meditations that I share on my YouTube channel because it's more of a cumulative learning process versus on YouTube I have to create it so that somebody coming in and just having that will be able to connect with it. So what else is included? I discount my one-on-one session time 50% for our program members. So if you find that you're wanting some dedicated time where we'll meet face-to-face on Zoom to go through things, that would be an additional fee, but that's discounted for members. It comes to $100 for a 30-minute session, and you can prorate that to any length of time. Also, something I don't talk about, but it just happens. If you get pregnant, I support you through pregnancy. If you happen to go through a loss, I support you through that time as well. I'm very conscious of the sensitivities that are happening during first trimester of pregnancy. It's not like, oh, you're pregnant, now you're done with the fertility program, see you later. This is a time of particularly high need for our members because most people are pretty nervous about what's going to happen next. So I have special support spaces set up for that so that I can help you enjoy your pregnancy and not just be stressed out during pregnancy. It's super, super important to me that you're not anxious through pregnancy, and that if you do go through a loss, you have the support to understand the different avenues that you might consider and the ways of taking care of yourself through that. Postpartum and parenting, add that in too. You may notice that I just didn't want to let my members go after they engaged in fertility. We just kept adding on the different phases. So this is all part of the program. You just continue along as long as you find it nourishing. Okay, so let's talk about the cost of admission. The current pricing is about a quarter of what I think the value would be, maybe a tenth. I don't know. I think that if you engage with this program and it resonates for you, it's practically priceless. But the world we live in, we have to put a price tag on it and have some means of exchange. And I've priced this at $499 US for the initial payment. And then after that, it's just $25 a month. And I set it up that way because I want you to be able to think through if this is a commitment that you want to make. And then once you've made the commitment, I want it to be easy for you to stay. This is why it's structured that way. Now, from what I've seen of other programs out there, programs like with the level of support that mine offer are often in the thousands of dollars range. And I realize that $499 isn't necessarily a small amount of money anyway to most people. And so it's something that you do need to recognize that this does align for you. You're going to get value. I want you to participate and commit yourself to this, not just, sign up and wander away because I want you to get results, right? The program's not going to do anything for you without you participating in it. So I'll be honest, I think this is a smashing deal. In fact, I almost feel embarrassed sometimes at how low, especially that ongoing price is, because people tell me like you're just giving away too much. But I am the person who loves a good deal and loves to offer a good deal. And this is why I've kept that ongoing price low. I've also gotten feedback so many times that people are like, I really want to do it, but I've spent so much on IVF. We just are so out of money. And there's this feeling of being burned also by the fertility journey and all the costs and all the programs that you've signed up for. And so I'm 10th in line for a lot of you. You've gone through so many things and now you're like, oh my gosh, another cost. How can I do this? Should I do this or not? And so I have thought through just where I want to land and how I want to support people through this. And I'm rolling out something that I have not done before since the very early time when I was first setting up a beta program. We had, a small cost initially because there really wasn't much there and we were figuring it out. But I have decided to offer a flat monthly rate to help those who may be concerned about cash flow and feeling like the $499 is just out of reach. And the new price that you can also choose is $75 a month, US dollars. I can't believe how much I'm going to give you for this amount. And it makes me happy to think that this may help make this support accessible. It also makes me a little bit nervous because I don't want people coming in just kind of like tire kicker looking around. I'm just going to peek in here and see what's going on. I want you to be really serious about engaging and committing to this. Obviously, if you engage and commit and it's not working for you, I don't want to hold you here. I want you to move on and find what's more helpful for you. I want to lower the barrier, but I don't want to lower the commitment. So I'm only going to make this price point available for a limited number of people to join, and then I'm going to stop offering this, and I want to follow and see how the group does. And if it turns out that offering it at this rate means we have a revolving door of people coming and going, that's really not helpful to the program as a whole. So I'm offering this kind of as an experiment to see how this goes. So if this kind of matches where you are, I want you to take advantage of it. And I want to encourage you to be really committed, just like if you had paid $2,000 for the program. I want you to be really like, we're going to prioritize this and make it happen because I'm going to be showing up 100% for all of you. And I want you to show up with your best energy too. Let's talk about the timeline for all this. We've already gotten started with little preparation inside the program for those who are ready to go. But the official kickoff call is going to be Wednesday, April 24th, 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm envisioning that the program is going to have 15 weeks of guided content, and you can stay as long as you wish. We continue having program activities for the general program. So there's going to be lots for you to delve into. If you missed that start date, you found out about this later, reach out and see if we're admitting new people. Most likely we'll keep the doors to the TwoCycle cleanse closed for a while so that we can really focus on working with who's there instead of orienting new people who continue coming in the door. So if this interests you, please do sign up before the 24th so that we can all get started together. If you can envision giving yourself the gift of a nourishing cleanse bath where you let go of the stressors, deeply nourish yourself, and trust your body to guide you and tell you what it needs. If you'd like to be part of this novel experiment that we're doing to cleanse your energy space, nourish your body, and see where this can lead, I would love to have you on board for our TwoCycle cleanse for optimal fertility. I'm going to go over some of the questions that I've already seen coming in. Is this okay if you're going to go through IVF? Yes, you can do this if you're also planning to do IVF. I think it may be distracting if you're doing IVF at the same time as a TwoCycle cleanse because you're going to have a lot of things to focus on there, and it's not going to be really a time where you can just kind of let go of thinking about fertility related things. So it's a little bit better timing if your IVF is coming after the TwoCycle cleanse. But if you want to try to layer the two things together, I'm not going to stop you from joining. I would just say be aware that you're going to make some modifications to pick and choose what fits for you, what feels easeful given the schedule that you're on with your IVF process. If you're not having cycles, don't worry about that. This is a perfect place to be. Don't worry about the idea of 2 cycles. You can just call it 2 months or something like that. It's just a notion to think about, like, as we're collecting data, we're going to be looking at graphs of 2 cycles and see how they're evolving with these things that we're doing. Don't worry if you're not cycling. My hope is that doing this kind of process could help your cycle get regulated. Should you be trying to conceive during the TwoCycle cleanse? Totally up to you. If it feels like that's what you want to be doing, if that feels in the flow, yes. This is a little bit different from when I'm teaching about egg nurturing for those who have been having miscarriages. If you've been having miscarriages due to egg quality, generally I suggest taking some time to re-nourish yourself to try to give your eggs a boost. But if that's not necessarily the issue that you're working on, then I think it's just up to you if you'd like to have that off your plate, trying to conceive off your plate during this time, or have it be a fun part of what you're doing along with all the other good nourishing that you're doing for yourself. How long is the program? So we're calling it 2 cycles, and everybody's going to be cycling at different times. So this is sort of a general framework. There's about 15 weeks of programming that I'll be guiding you through, and you can continue on with this aspect as long as you want to keep applying it for yourself. And I'll be encouraging you to make modifications as you go. So it's really an open-ended program, but the more intensive guidance is going to be in the first few months after you come on board. Will there be live sessions, and what will the time zones be? Most of the live sessions, when we do them, will be 2 p.m. Eastern, which works for North and South America and Europe, and anything that's critical will be recorded so others can watch on the replay. I'm not going to rely on a lot of live sessions just because it's hard for people to show up live for things, but there will likely be some sprinkled in, so don't worry about being able to show up for live sessions. It's not dependent on that. And what is the time commitment? I'm going to do my best to keep the time commitment light. So it may be something you check in for a few minutes each day, and maybe on a weekend you do some deeper work, but I want the things that we do to be the kinds of things that you're going to do in life anyway, and we're going to try to keep the expectation very reasonable so that you can fit it in to a normal person's busy day. Some of you have small children and your hands are full all the time and you're juggling to just keep everybody in the household fed. So we're going to really keep it realistic. I hope that it doesn't take a lot of extra time from what you want to be doing in your life anyway. Probably the bigger time commitment is on the front end. If you're new to the program, getting oriented to the tech layout, making sure you have access to things and finding your way around. That's the biggest time commitment. If you don't do that part of it, you may just feel lost, and I wouldn't want that to happen. So if you can't come up with a couple hours on the front end to get your bearings, this is probably not a good fit for you. Do we have success stories? What are our success rates? Well, I am looking to collect success rates through this program. I haven't done it formally with my coaching program so far, but I have seen it. We've seen many pregnancies in the mid-40s, and I've been collecting those stories in an interview format. You can come in and hear those. We've got about 8 stories collected where we really go into depth about what somebody was experiencing on their way to getting pregnant, so we can all learn from that. So there are lots of very, very inspiring stories within this program. When does this start? April 24th is going to be the official kickoff date. And I'm going to try to structure it so that later on people could come in self-guided. But if you want to be here with the cohort, that's the date to aim for. Will I offer this again? I don't know when I would do this again in this heavily guided way. I really want to go in with a lot of support for the program that we're going to kick off right now. And that takes a lot of focus. So I don't know when I would do it again, like in the summer, in the fall, I don't know. I'm really just focusing on this time around. So if you're feeling drawn, I really encourage you to think about doing this right now. So yeah, what do you have to lose? That would be my last question for you. If you're on the fence and you're thinking about it, ask yourself, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose by giving yourself the gift of space and downtime and ease and reevaluating your whole program and coming back to the basics and joining up with a group who's on the same path, who's immersing themselves in positive energy and encouraging each other? The community that has formed within my coaching program is just so, so special. It's such a supportive and compassionate place. A lot of very empathic people are drawn to the program, and it's the place that I like to hang out. So it's something that is very hard to quantify, but I would just ask you, what do you have to lose? I'm trying to make this as accessible as I can while still honoring my time and my expertise to bring you the best quality support. And if you have any questions at all, please just reach out and ask. This is the website where you can find the enrollment links, fertilityfromthesoul.com/ease, and you can email me anytime at info@fertilityfromthesoul.com. I am the one who reads and responds to all of the emails. If you don't hear back from me within a couple days, it's possible I'm disorganized. I got busy with things, and if you don't hear from me, email me again, because I don't want to miss anything. But sometimes things fall through the cracks. It's not because you're not important to me. You really are. So check in with yourself, listen to your heart, take a few breaths, and notice if you would like to be part of this TwoCycle cleanse experience. I'll be guiding the group, going all in to give you my best support. And I would love to see you on board. I would love to see you through this next phase of your process.